Seems that so many lessons in life come at a cost, sometimes a heavy cost. But what if that cost could be reduced or perhaps eliminated? Let's have ourselves a pocket sized pep talk because the first step begins with the removal of an old phrase that I believe has seen its better days. I'll tell you what it is and why it's of no value.
A pocket-sized pep talk, the podcast that can help energize your business and your life with a quick, inspiring message. Now, here's your host, Rob Jollis.
I could have told you, but you had to learn this lesson on your own. How many times did you hear that phrase as a child or as a young adult? How many times have you heard it as an adult? I'm not very fond of that phrase. Wait, that's not strong enough. I detest that phrase. First time I heard that phrase, I was a 6-year-old child. And it didn't come from my mother or father. It came from our television set. Once a year, The Wizard of Oz came on television, and it was a big deal. You knew it was coming weeks in advance, and you gathered as a family to watch, and you savored every moment. The story was amazing. The switch to color was breathtaking, and the characters, unforgettable. As if it was yesterday, I do remember scratching my 6-year-old head at the ending. To refresh your memory, Glinda the Good Witch finally reappears. She floats in, perched inside a giant bubble, and she seems ready to fix everything. I was probably the only person on the face of the earth who was not a fan of Glinda, but I had my reasons. I wanted to jump over the rainbow, walk right up to that good witch, and say this: Glinda, you sent Dorothy into the woods alone, even though Dorothy had a furious witch coming after her due to the accidental killing of the witch's sister. You even felt the need to humiliate this angry witch right in front of a bunch of munchkins. You watched as Dorothy and her friends were burned, beaten, poisoned, and kidnapped by heinous flying monster monkeys. Other than making a little snow come down, you did nothing. What's more, you sent her down this yellow brick road to a wizard who was really a fraud and who, recognizing their horrible predicament, gave them an incredibly dangerous, impossible task based on a lie. Glinda, you finally decide to reappear only after the supposed wizard botched the balloon getaway he had promised to Dorothy, and he left without her. And wait for it, here's the priceless exchange and lesson that ensued. Dorothy, oh, will you help me? Can you help me? Glinda, you don't need to be helped any longer. You've always had the power to go back to Kansas. Dorothy, I have. Scarecrow, then why didn't you tell her before? And Glinda, because you wouldn't have believed me. She had to learn it herself. Spoiler alert, Dorothy realized that everything she ever wanted was right in her own backyard. After all, she said this: "If it isn't there, I never really lost it to begin with." Glinda, rather pleased with herself, proclaimed that all Dorothy had to do was 3 clicks of her heels and home she'd go. You have to learn it for yourself? That was my first memory of a phrase and a lesson that I will continue to find just as ridiculous today as I did many years ago. Where is it written that lessons in life that bring pain, loss, fear, and far worse cannot be explained to individuals beforehand? I didn't believe it when I was 6, and I don't believe it now. Not all lessons require pain and loss to be learned. You do not have to learn it for yourself. That's what teachers are for, and that's what mentors are for. We all know that making mistakes is a part of life. It's a part of growing up. It's a part of evolving as a person. But why would we consciously choose not to reach out and try and help those whom we parent or work with or manage or simply care about so that they can learn a lesson for themselves? That logic just doesn't work for me. We may not be able to control what others do with the lessons we present, but I will never shy away from clearly and compassionately trying to help others avoid the crushing consequences of having to learn a lesson for themselves. That's what I've always loved about selling. Selling involves skillfully helping others to think ahead and consider the what if scenarios to help fight life's tough lessons. Sometimes that involves selling, and sometimes that involves telling, but more often than not, it involves courage.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please rate and recommend it on iTunes, Outcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more information on this show and Rob at jollis.com.